Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. And um, I'm in a position in my life where I am sharing the experience and that I've had and the things that I've been involved in throughout my life. And this is what I'm trying to do now is kind of show people stuff. And on mainly what we're doing on these classes that I'm doing is I talk about stuff and I teach people without harm being done to them. And the three things that we're going to be talking about is how to use gold and silver. Uh, Method, it's called Hoi Chi, and it's used to improve health and take away pain. And the other thing is three-man militias. And now a little bit about me. Okay, I got my first experience in non-lethal combat as a child. I was brought up in the days of bad racial problems. Bad racial problems. You know, people talk about race now. It's nothing the way it was. It was bad before. And so it started there. And then I learned martial arts. Well, I learned Chi, the energy in the body. I learned about it. And as I learned about it, uh, my dad told me that once I learned to control it, there's no limits on what you can do once you control it. And I was a young child when he told me this, so my imagination really went crazy. And so I learned a lot. And I learned how to fight and do all this. And the better I got, then I got to the point where my dad told me, well, now you know how to, you know how to fight. Now you can't fight. And that didn't make no sense to me as a child. Why did I learn something and I can't use this skill? Well, it ended up I turned 18 and I went to the Marines and I went to Vietnam. I used the skills that I learned, and the Marines were supposed to teach you this stuff, but I knew about it, and I was able to use it. So I realized then that I've got a skill. Now, the thing is, I was in heavy combat along the DMZ the whole year of 1968. But like I say, it was more than that what I learned, and uh, I came back and I tried to act like a normal person, like everybody else, but I knew I wasn't. But you had to try to do like that. Got married, raised my kids. When my kids got raised, then they went off to college, and when they came back home for Christmas, first thing they saw was, boy, Daddy's got a motorcycle. Man, Dad, what are you doing with a motorcycle? I said, well, I have it a life before you all came along. And then they opened up the newspaper, and wouldn't you see in the newspaper, Daddy's training SWAT. And that's where they were wondering, what do you know about this stuff? Well, Daddy had a life before you all came. And so that was there introduction. They had no idea what I've done. And then, let's see, Desert Storm, I think it was, in 91. I got physically fit for that, and I was 41 at the time. And that went to the Marines, and I told them, I'd like to join. And they said, well, you're too old. I think it's 27 was the oldest you can become a Marine. And I said, well, okay. I gave my business card and my phone number and my service number. And I told them, just give it to somebody and we'll go from there. 2 days later, a car came and picked me up. And they took me in, and I did the physical and the mental and all the stuff, the tests and stuff like that. And I was ready to go. And I told them, no, I am not. I'll go in once you all make contact. Once everybody gets blood on them and gets scared, they will listen to me. Right now, nobody listens to me. They're just a bunch of young kids. They're not going, why should they listen to me? But after they get a little bit of war and they find out how nasty it is, they will listen to me. So, but anyway, it didn't happen. We bombed them, and then after we bombed them, they come out of the holes and went over and started hugging on these Marines. That's why I didn't want to be in there. I didn't come here to get hugged on. I came to do my job, and that's why I knew that wasn't going to work. So, but anyway, the point I'm trying to get across is that was when I got up to 40 years old, 41 years old, and I was open. I was starting to do things. Now, I've owned businesses all my life, and my wife told me you can't hurt people. It's not good for business. So I had to think of other things to do. And but anyway, there was times that I had to do what I do. Now, eventually, I was about 53. It was about 2003. My wife realized that I was having a difficult time being civilized. These rules, regulations, everybody's telling you what to do. And I'm not real good on listening. I'm not religious, but I'm highly spiritual. And that's basically what everything is based on, is my spiritual beliefs, my morals. My moral level is like that. And that's what I look for in other people. If they don't have morals, they can't function around me. They don't have anything to share to me. And you notice that when you look at your friends and you see how your best friends will be at a moral level as you are. If their morals are way down low, they're probably not a good friend. And this is what the basics for the three-man militia. It's just you need two other people besides yourself that have the same morals, the same level of morals. Uh, it doesn't necessarily mean they have all the physical and knowledge and stuff like that on you. In other words, like say right now I'm 73, I could have a 23-year-old person in my three-man militia. And so we've got different levels of experience and lifestyle and stuff like that. But morally, they would have morals equal to mine. Uh, Probably not any younger than that. They probably have really high morals, but the it would be difficult using those morals. That's why I've got the morals I have. I've used them, and I still use them all the time. This is what gives me the abilities that I have. Uh, Three-man militia is needed uh, so you can take care of yourself, your family, your neighbors, and and when you have these other two guys with you, you can help take care of them. They can help take care of you, and that's why they have to be moral. They have to understand um, their responsibilities as a human. And an example of that, they had the riots in Seattle, and it was funny. They called me, and he called me. He says, "Well, I'm from Seattle, and they've been rioting here." And yeah, okay, yeah. And well, I live in the next town, and the thing is, they rioted in Seattle, and now they're moving over to our town. And then, oh, hey, now it's starting to get interesting. And okay, so I said, okay, well, so what happened? What did you do? He said, well, we called everybody, and everybody grabbed their guns. Ooh, wow, I'm all excited. I want to know how this works. And I said, okay. And then what'd you do? And they said, well, the thing was to come to our town, uh, they had to just go up the highway. They didn't understand when you cross the highway, you're in uh, Indian reservation, and so they let them riot in Seattle. And so when they get on the highway coming up to our town, they looked over there and hey, look, so we go over there and start rioting. And they went over to start rioting, and the Indian police, well, they don't go under the same rules, and there's like 500 of them, and so they needed help. So they called the Seattle police. The Seattle police couldn't do anything when they were in Seattle, but they come to help the Indians, and so they're knocking them in the head and throwing them in jail on the Indians. And I said, so then that means you didn't have any trouble. He said, no. And I said, okay, so what was it? Why would you call me? And he says, well, we need your help. And I said, do you know what I do? And they said, yes, we know what you do. And so they paid my way up there, and what I did is I did classes on three-man militia. And you might be thinking, well, what, that's the first thing they asked me. They said, well, what, only the one guy is the one guy that knew of me. And everybody else, they really didn't know that much of me. And they said, okay, what do you know that could stop 500 protesters in our little street, in our little community? And I said, well, yeah, three of us, we could do that. And whoa, three of you going to handle 500? And I said, yes. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, the thing was, the three of us, we would have tomahawks. And I've got videos on how to handle tomahawks. And you take this tomahawk, and all I got to do is explain to them that we don't want them in our community, and they'll leave. And I said, no, they're not. And I said, yeah, I'm going to bash them, and then they're going to leave. And, they didn't fully think this out. The three-man militia, the three of us, right there in the middle of the street, right in the middle of town. Stop them clean. That's it. Get out. Okay, another three up on rooftops. Another three on rooftops. Another three on rooftop. Their job, their job is to protect me and the other two, our three-man militia, protect us. And one of the first questions I ask people: how many times can you hit a gallon jug in 5 seconds at 100 yards away? And that's how many that's how many bullets you're going to have in your gun. I don't care what kind of gun. You can have 22, 308, bolt action. It don't matter what kind of gun you have. But how many times can you hit it in 5 seconds? Now, the thing is, the way this is set up, you are protecting me. Okay? And when you see me start hitting people, these people aren't going to be happy about that. I'm going to need help. All you have to do is shoot at the people that are going to hurt me. And how many times? How many times can you hit the gallon jug? 3 times in 5 seconds? Okay, well, that's how many bullets you have. So you shoot 3 shots, and then I'm going to tell everybody, stop, stop, stop. And what you're doing, you're just going to stop and reload. And then when I stop, tell everybody to stop. They stop shooting, and now they're more than likely going to run away. That's going to be it. Now, in case they're getting really crazy, we'll do it again. And we'll keep doing it as long as these people aren't a threat to our three-man meet and greet. And uh, that will take care of that. And the thing is, you can't get a bunch of guys together. You can grab 100 guys and they all have guns. Now what are you going to do? People don't think this out. And I don't like it when people do things as ordered. That's the problem we have. The police are acting stupid because they're doing something that they were ordered to do. That's why I don't like that stuff. All I want you to do is what's moral. What is the right thing to do? That's all you got to do. It's not difficult. So when you have 100 people, how are you going to tell them who to shoot, when to shoot, and when to stop? You're not going to. But when it's divided into threes, you have better control over that 100. And then the threes, some are better qualified in shooting. Some are better qualified in hauling water, where to get water. They got storage, a water buffalo to fill up the water, to get water to people. Food, gardening, how to grow food. They've got skills. And that's really what we want, is the skills. Not the idea that you got to go and shoot people, but they got skills. Now we have to show them how to use the gun. That's why I say, how many times can you hit a gallon jug in 5 seconds at 100 yards away? And then like that, it's much easier for them to morally do what's right. So that's what when I went there in Seattle and we were doing classes on that, we had divided. Well, it was what you have to do is any area that you want to control, you have to bottleneck people into that area. You don't want people coming in from everywhere, so you have to set it up so they're bottlenecked, and then you have the three that are meet and greet. And that's what we did. There was a gate. We were out in the country. We put a gate. There was a gate there, and then you got your three, and this is your area. Now you got the other three. We're coming in. Now what? Why are you coming in? Okay, you got to protect your area. Now these people are coming in for what? Well, we have somebody injured. We're hungry. We just need to go through your area. We just, they'll come up with all kinds of excuses. And that's what they did. They were coming up with excuses to come through. And the other people, their moral obligation is not to let you through unless you're not a threat to the community. These three are protecting the community behind them. And so they got to make a plan on how to do all that. And that's what we did. We showed them how to set that up, how to make that work. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Everybody learned so much stuff. It was really exciting. And I was there a little over a week. And matter of fact, I did a church. They one guy said, "Well, do you help churches?" And I said, "Yeah, we'll go with that." So I went to this church, and they were still doing church. And during the rioting stuff and all that, during that time, they were telling people, "Don't, no churches, no," but they were doing it. They had a church, so they had to worry that what the worry was, I gotta remember they got a bunch of crazies over there. And I said, "Well, you can't have that many people together with the virus and stuff." They were coming in, and so they had to worry about protesters coming into their church. And so I had to show them how to do that. That was funny too, but that's another story. Uh, and I showed them where they needed to have people um, around on the outside. And the inside, they already had it figured out on the inside. They didn't know what to do. And I explained, well, I showed them how to do it, but they had to learn how to handle the stuff. But they had the plans, just needed to tweak them a lot. And but anyway, that was a lot of fun. And so, three-man militia is a must. It'll be the same thing on your block. You need, tornado come through. You need some way or another to keep anybody from coming up there in your community. Or if there's all kinds of emergencies that could happen. You have to have a plan, and that's what I do. Is I help people form plans. They're very simple, and that's why a gated community, that's even easier because it's got a fence around it. But how would you do that? Oh, you don't protect my house. Well, that's good, but across the street, next door, they're all going to get broke into. What can you do? There's a lot you can do. And but so I do a lot on three-man militias, on motivating people on the three-man militias. And another thing that I do is gold and silver. I teach people how to use it. The first thing you need to learn, or you need to have gold and silver. And that's the first thing. And then I tell people uh, what they need to get. Oh, I want some. And a funny thing is, I had a lady that had $10,000 cash, $10,000, and she wanted some gold. And I said, you take $200 every month, and you go to a pawn shop, and you get $200. You go the next month, you go to $200, and you go to a coin shop or another pawn shop, and you keep doing this, and buy $200 worth. And she says, "Well, what would I get?" And I said, "Well, that's what you're asking them. You're going to ask them questions, and uh, so you have to figure out what it is that you're going to have to get, and how much is it going to be. That's why you're going, and how much. How do you get the price? How do you figure out how much this is? These are questions you need to ask and learn. And she says, "No, I've got $10,000. I want some gold." I said, "Well, you got the $10,000." And she said, "Yes, right here." So she had her $10,000. I got in my bag, and I laid out 4 gold coins. And I said, "Give me the $10,000." There was no way she was going to give me $10,000. Why? She doesn't even know how much gold is, how much it's worth. She doesn't know what she's going to get. That's why she's got to go get $200 every month and start asking questions. And that's why you're going to learn what it is. Eventually, she'll learn. Gold was, at that time was 1 ounce gold coin was $2,500. So four of them would be $4,000 or $10,000. But you think about that. What are you going to do? That's one of the questions you need to ask. What am I going to do with this? Okay, and so uh, that's what I try to do. I get people interested in gold and silver, and then uh, then they will get some. And when you get some, you're going to learn a little bit about it. But you're still. I'll tell you, I've been around, and I am the only one that I know of that uses gold and silver, and I teach people how to use it, what's it worth. Everybody thinking, well, it's worth, $20 an ounce. The silver is. Well, why isn't it worth $5 an ounce? Well, because it's worth $20 an ounce. I said, no, it's not. That silver is the same. The only difference is the dollar loses value. That's why it's 20 now. I mean, so people don't understand, and that's why you need to understand what it is and what it's worth. And I don't even worry about what it's worth in dollars and cents. The only time I worry about it is when I buy it. But when I use it, that's yeah, you think about it some, but it's not that big of a deal. And that's what I do is I show people how to use it, and it's very interesting, and it's more advanced than what people really realize. It's to know what it is. You don't know. Nobody knows. When you're trading it, but what do you do with it? How do you trade it? What I mean? Everybody says the ones that do have gold and silver, they say, "Oh, I got it, so I can trade it." Okay, well, trade it. And what do you got to trade? What I mean? They don't use it. They don't trade. They know what it's for, but they don't know how to do it. And these are things that I tell you stories, situations about where I've used it, and you can see that where I get the value of it. And one thing about gold and silver, if you have gold and silver, you'll never be broke. The dollar can do whatever it wants to do, but you'll never be broke when you got gold and silver. Okay, and one of the other things I do is Hoi Chi. And Hoi Chi, Hoi means open, and Chi is the energy in the body. And what I do is I hit the points that are blocked. And when the blocked, the energy can't go through, and then you get sick. And, then you say, oh, well, I'm not sick. Well, 90% of the people are sick. Uh, and and I can prove it. I mean, you're going to believe what I say when I'm working on you. I I explain how the body works very simply, and I use the pain that you're going to get when I touch you in certain spots. You're going to hurt, and you go, whoa, why does that hurt? And then I can explain, and it'll make sense to you. It is that simple, but it's just we are taught to be stupid. Look around, look around. What? For your convenience, your convenience. This we do this. Just call us. We'll take care of it. Okay. They don't want you to think. The system wants us as stupid as possible, and healthcare is a good example. Look at people that take medicine. They don't get well. They don't understand healing. And when I do this the Hoi Chi on you, then you're gonna say, wow, what's this? When you get done, you're gonna go, whoa, man, I can move, I breathe, I feel good. You'll understand what's going on, and I show people how to do it too, and it's very, very interesting. A matter of fact, I use that skill to travel the world. I don't need to know how to speak a language. When I work, okay, when you fight, there's these points on the body. You hit these points when you fight, and then that will hurt a guy more. It'll get them lock up their arms, stuff like that. There's all kinds of things like that. What I do uh, when I fight is use these points. And I'll say I was about almost, I think about 38, something like that, when I first started thinking, oh, what's this pain? What's this? And I started studying acupuncture, and I found out they're using a needle in the same spots that I use when I fight. So then it dawned on me that what these points were and how they work. And when you have pain, it's these points. And once I open them up, you relax, no pain, and your body can heal. Inflammation, swelling comes down, because that's mainly the cause on just about every problem you have. Inflammation, bring the swelling down, and we go through all the techniques on bringing down swelling and stuff like that. But that's one of the things that I do, and so trying to make people healthy is or keep yourself healthy. Why do you eat these foods and why not these foods? Why don't I drink pop and drink water? I mean, there's a reason for it, and I explain it, and you'll understand how and why it's like that. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you some of the stuff that I do, and these are things that I share. I share with other people. And but anyway, I just wanted you to know what's going on. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.